Good morning. Thank you for choosing Central Foods. Today I'd like to show you the drain assembly we'll be sending you as part of your shipment and how to assemble it. First off, I'd like to show you the tools we'll be using. First off, we have a bung wrench. This is useful if the drain port on the tote you receive is tight. Second, channel locks. We'll use these just to tighten the drain assembly as we put it together, and you'll also use them to disassemble the drain assembly when you're done draining the tote. As optional, we also have Teflon tape. Teflon tape, as we put the pieces together, can help just to prevent or minimize any drips or small leaks. First step, we'll remove the drain plug on the tote. This is where the bung wrench can come in handy. You can also use pliers, or oftentimes it's just finger tight. The plug on the drain, because these are, once we put the valve on, we cannot take it off. The plug at this point is no longer needed, and we can throw that away. Secondly, because we're using a ball valve with a built-in plunge cutter, the cutter supplied with your tote will not be needed, and you can discard that as well. The next step is to insert the ball valve. I would like to note though that the ball valve has an O-ring gasket on there, so when we tighten it, we basically just need to go hand tight and a quarter to a half turn. More than that, it just makes it harder to get off at the end. So we'll go ahead and insert the ball valve. We'll tighten it up till it gets snug, and then just a little bit more just to make sure it's sealed there. Next, we'll use the plunge cutter. The plunge cutter screws into the outlet side of the ball valve, and basically all you do is you just push it in, and with the cutter at the end, it will cut the seal on the bag-in-a-box tote. So we'll go ahead and put it in. As I screw this in, another note, this also has an O-ring seal on it, so once again, we do not need to make this a wrench-tight connection. Next, we'll go ahead, you can put the plunge cutter in and you'll feel when you hit the gland or the seal on there. Just go ahead, give it a smack, and you'll cut that seal. And if you couldn't hear on the video, you could hear the air coming out of the valve and basically going into the tote. We'll go ahead and pull this all the way back, and then we'll unscrew it. When you do, two things to make sure of. One, you are going to lose about a cup to a cup and a half of liquid that's already in the ball valve now. And two, very important, we want to close this valve before we take this off. If we don't, we'll get a lot more oil coming out than we want to. So we'll unscrew this. And we'll get about a little bit less than a cup of oil. Okay. At this point, we're done with the plunge cutter, and it can be cleaned, sanitized, and set aside for use on your next tote. Note though that it does come in contact with the oil, so whatever you use to clean this does need to be a food safe and sanitary connection. I'm just going to wipe down the outside of this. That's just because I don't want to have excess strips coming off at this time. Next, I'm going to take our gravity drain assembly that we've put together for you that we're going on your shipment. You requested a 10-foot hose, so that's what we have. Of note, the end that goes into the ball valve, it does not have a gasket seal on it, so you may want to go ahead at this time and you can use Teflon tape or pipe dope, and that will just help minimize any small drips that might occur. So, basically anywhere from 2 to 3 wraps of Teflon tape, and that will help. Okay. Once again, we do want to make sure everything is safe, so no Teflon tape goes on the inside. Because of the length, the easiest way to put this on is to have someone help you, because this whole unit does have to twist. So I'm going to have Mike basically take the opposite end, and he'll just stretch that out, and all he's going to do is as I twist this and put it on, he's going to go ahead and twist the whole thing with me. So we'll go ahead, insert, and tighten that up. Because this is not a O-ring or a gasket seal, we do want to seal this up. So I'm going to go basically fairly tight on this. There we go. Okay. Now what I'll do is, thank you, Mike, just for demonstration purposes, I have a 1-gallon jug, and that's what I'm going to dispense into. So I'll just set it down because it is a gravity drain system. And when I open the ball valve here, we have a valve on this end. So the ball valve on this, basically as you're using this, you can leave it open all the time. I would suggest you close it at night just for safety's sake, but it's not required. Open the valve, and you can start seeing the oil filling this at this time. Okay. Whatever container you're going to be dispensing into, whether it's a bucket or anything else, we'll just go ahead and put the nozzle in, and then we'll open it up. There is a lot of oil behind this, so the oil will come, you don't have to open the ball valve all the way. It will come out quite rapidly. As you can see, filling this 1 gallon jug, it fills quite fast. Once you've dispensed the amount you wish, simply close the ball valve, knock off any drops you might have, take a paper towel, if you want to wipe off the drips, and then you can go ahead and you can either set it on top of your tote. If you're putting your tote on a pallet rack, you can basically attach this to the side of the pallet rack, just basically to prevent any drips that you might have, and so it's not a trip hazard and it's out of the way. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time today. If you have any questions, please feel free to call as your account manager. Have a nice day.